It crushed me, like, 'cause, she's 21, and she had a 1-year-old.
Horrific sadness. 2 adults and a child killed after police say a truck slammed into their vehicle. Tonight, what we're learning about the victims, the trucker, and the message we just received from that driver.
It's a new era at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The step taken today that begins a whole new chapter in Speedway history.
The quiet start to 2020 continues this evening, but that changes as the week goes on. I'll have your Storm Team 6 forecast.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
We begin now at 5 with words of sorrow. Take a look at your screen. We just received this from the Boone County Sheriff's Department. It is a copy of a handwritten note from the semi-driver they say plowed into several vehicles on I-65 yesterday, killing 3 people, including a small child.
Sheriff Mike Nielsen said driver Matthew Small asked him to share this note that reads, quote, "My heart and prayers are with the families. I am in agony over this whole ordeal." And while the investigation into this tragedy is in its early stages, tonight we are learning more about 2 adult victims.
RTV6's Troy Washington is in Boone County explaining how this loss has shaken an entire community.
Friends say the family was going to a service at Traders Point Christian Church on Sunday morning. The trip wasn't supposed to end in loss, but investigators say this man, Matthew Small, took his eyes off the road for just a second going northbound on I-65. And a second was all it took for him to smash into 8 cars, including the one Mariah Tomei was riding in.
It crushed me, like, 'cause, she's 21, and she had a 1-year-old.
Tomei's 1-year-old daughter, Hadley, was also killed in the crash, along with Kaylee Kirk.
She was always smiling and joking, and yeah, it seems surreal.
Jacob Bird says he became Tomei's friend while the 2 worked together. Friends shared these photos with us of Kirk and Tomei.
She was just so nice to everybody. Like, she stood up for me at work.
Both Tomei and Kirk graduated from Lebanon High School, where their impact echoes through the halls even though they are gone. The former students are remembered as being caring, kind, and wonderful young people with promising futures ahead of them.
She was sweet. Like, she got along with everybody. She didn't have a mean bone in her body.
Many friends and families still just starting the grieving process declined our invite to talk about the young victims on camera. But across the board, those that knew both and baby Hadley say they are deeply hurt and still in disbelief. Meanwhile, Small remains behind bars in Boone County, facing 3 counts of felony reckless homicide. Working for you in Boone County, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Well, the high school is offering grief counseling for those who knew Kaylee and Mariah. And Traders Point Christian Church is also open for prayer and counseling until 8 o'clock tonight.
And continuing our team coverage tonight, Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny has uncovered the semi-truck driver Matthew Small has been in trouble before for his driving habits. Kara has been digging into his record all day and joins us now with what you have uncovered.
Thank you, Amanda. Matthew Small is facing preliminary charges of reckless homicide for Sunday's crash. We ran his name and found previous violations dating back to 2002 for things like reckless driving and speeding, both in Indiana and his home state of Michigan. Matthew Small was driving his tractor trailer on I-69 near Carmel on July 8, 2019, when Indiana State Police pulled him over and ticketed him for following too closely in his truck. Carmel City Court fined him $225, which he paid back in November. Now, less than 2 months later, Small was arrested Sunday for reckless homicide after he plowed into traffic on I-65 near Whitestown, killing 3 people. Small is from Granville, Michigan, and we found he has a history of violations in that state while driving personally and professionally. In 2002, he was convicted of reckless driving in Branch County, and in 2004, driving on a suspended license. He paid fines in both cases, and both were in a personal vehicle. In 2013, Small was cited for failing to stop within a safe distance after a crash in a passenger car. In 2013, he was cited in Michigan for speeding in a car. In 2014, Small received a driver improvement letter from the state of Michigan, correspondence that warns drivers of unsafe driving habits. Also in 2014, Small was cited in a pickup truck for failing to make a proper stop. In 2015, Small got a speeding ticket after he was involved in a crash in a passenger car. No one was hurt in either the 2013 nor the 2015 crash, Michigan records show. Small got more speeding tickets in Grand Rapids in 2017 while driving his car. And in May 2019, Small was cited for speeding in a commercial vehicle while in Ohio. We asked to speak with Matthew Small, and he has declined all media interviews. We also reached out to the company VL Trucking via phone and email today, and we are still waiting to hear back from them as well. Amanda.
And we will continue our team coverage on the news at 6. We are hearing concerns about traffic and traffic backups in the area. What we are learning from NDOT about plans to make safety improvements in that stretch of the interstate. And we are also following a developing story tonight from Johnson County. A collapse of a well under construction claims one life. This happened on County Road 225 in Bargersville. This happened around noon at 4991 West 225 North in Bargersville. We have no information about the victim right now. County Road 225 is still closed at this hour. From County Road 500 West to 450 West, it is expected to be closed into the evening.
The Roger Penske era is officially underway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the IndyCar Series. The sale is now final. Back in November, we learned of the pending sale when Penske and Tony George both spoke at a news conference. The track had been in the Holman-George family since 1945. Well, the purchase of the historic track and the IndyCar Series became final today. Penske is now just the 4th owner in the track's history. In a statement, he said, quote, "We are looking forward to carrying on the tradition of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and IndyCar racing." As a car owner, Roger Penske has won the Indy 500 a record 18 times. Congratulations tonight to the Butler University men's basketball team. They're on an historic high. The Bulldogs are ranked number 6 in both major polls released today. In the AP poll, that's the highest ranking in the history of Butler's program. The team is 14-1 after Saturday's win over Creighton. The Bulldogs' next game is Friday night at Providence.
Now the Storm Team 6 Tracking Center with meteorologist Todd Clausen in for Kevin Gregory. It's nice to have you with us.
Nice to be up. We'll get to see the sunset for once together here, you know, and it's been a pretty quiet day for us.
We got some sunshine. It was really nice.
We did, you know, and you have to keep remembering it's 35. That's our average high this time of year, and we were well above that this afternoon. When you throw in the sunshine, it's definitely a 1-2 combo that we appreciate this time of year, because if you go back just several years, we were in the midst of an Arctic blast when the temperature got down to minus 15 degrees. Here's the view outside right now. A little bit of high thin cloud cover out there, but as the sun starts to set here, the temperature sits at 42 degrees, and you see this just little band of cloud cover making its way through the area right now. We'll expand out, and it's a pretty quiet weather pattern. Have a little bit of a rain-snow mixture here off to our west, but that is actually going to dive down to our south, so that will not impact us, with the exception of some of those high thin clouds that are starting to make their way into the area currently. 39 in Peru, 42 in Indianapolis, 47 is the current temperature right now in Bloomington, so you are well above normal in southern locations. And if you do have plans this evening, as the sun starts to set, temperatures will slowly cool off back down into the 30s. It's probably not until after 8 and 9 o'clock, though, that the clouds really start to gather across the area. And then by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, we're talking about chilly temperatures, but quiet skies still. We need to enjoy this nice quiet stretch of weather because a pretty big storm system heads our way by the end of the week. We'll talk more about that, Mark, coming up in just
Better live in the moment, Todd. Thank you for that. The 2020 legislative session is now underway. The session began this afternoon with lawmakers beginning the annual work of enacting new laws for the state. The House Republicans also officially revealed their priorities for the session. Here's a look at what could happen this year. Hoosier teachers and schools may not be negatively impacted by the low I-Learn scores from last year or the 2020 test. They want to raise the minimum age to buy and use tobacco products to 21, even though it's already a federal law. State House leaders say it's to maintain consistency with the federal government in that case. They also want to make sure that you won't get charged high health care prices for an office that's in your network, even if the doctor is out of your network.
President Trump and lawmakers are back in Washington with the situation in Iran at the forefront. The president is warning that if the country retaliates to the U.S. attack that killed Iran's top military leader, more action will be taken. ABC's Mona Kosa Abdi has the latest.
Iran entering another day of mourning over the loss of its top military commander, Qasem Soleimani. The country's supreme leader shedding tears over Soleimani's coffin during his funeral Monday, surrounded by a sea of mourners paying tribute to a man revered by many, but also with the blood of hundreds of American troops on his hands. Washington watching closely, bracing for Iran's next move. Soleimani's replacement vowing for revenge, while in Iraq, members of the parliament at the request of the Prime Minister, took a non-binding vote to expel all American troops. Aboard Air Force One, President Trump warning Iraq, a U.S. ally, that if it follows through on removing U.S. troops, quote, we will charge them sanctions like they've never seen before ever. Regarding Iran this morning, the president tweeted in all caps, quote, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Following its announcement, it will no longer abide by any operational constraints under the 2015 nuclear deal. NATO Secretary General calling for restraint and de-escalation in the region.
A new conflict would be in no one's interest. So Iran must refrain from further violence and provocations.
In a letter to her colleagues Sunday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called the airstrike, quote, provocative and disproportionate, announcing the House will vote on a war powers resolution to limit the president's military actions. And in the Senate, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called the president's foreign policy erratic and unsuccessful.
We do not need this president either bumbling or impulsively getting us into a major war.
And on Wednesday, there will be an all-Senate meeting to discuss the Soleimani strike and the rising tensions with Iran. Monica Saramdi, ABC News, Washington.
And more to come this hour on RTV6. Feeling a sense of betrayal after working the picket line, some Hoosier auto workers say they feel cheated after they say a condition they were promised actually fell through. Was this a case of an empty promise?
And just ahead here at 5, we may be enjoying some milder temperatures these days, but it is still winter, and a fireplace can be a nice cozy touch. Tonight, a warning regarding some models.
And Mark, you mentioned the temperatures, 43 today. That was our high. Occurred a little after 3 o'clock, but every single day of 2020 has been above average. That will continue, but we do have a big storm system to talk about. We'll do it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
More details tonight on the closing of an anchor store at a Washington Square mall. Burlington says it will end operations on January 24th and that all employees have been made aware of the situation. The company's PR firm confirmed that today, saying it began its closing sale this past Friday. Burlington's departure will come after the closing of Dick's Sporting Goods store just yesterday. Target is the only remaining anchor store at the East Side Shopping Center. In August, the mall came under new management, which says it's still committed to the facility.
Governor Holcomb today announced 2019 was another record-breaking year for economic development in Indiana. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation secured 296 commitments from companies to locate or grow in our state. Well, these businesses plan to invest more than $844 billion in their Indiana operations and create more than 27,000 new Hoosier jobs. The average wages equal $28.60 an hour, or nearly $59,500 a year. January is fireplace season, when many people turn on gas fireplaces to stay warm and combat those short winter days. But fire departments warn of a safety risk with some models. Consumer reporter John Mattery shows what to check for so you stay safe and you don't waste your money.
Many homes these days have gas fireplaces because they're more convenient and safer than wood burning. But one family wants you to know about a risk with some gas models after they had a major scare. Christy Sullivan says she's lucky to be alive after a carbon monoxide scare.
The carbon monoxide was coming from here.
This fireplace was giving off deadly gas, firefighters tell her, on a night when neighbor Lauren Freeman was dog sitting for her.
6 in the morning, they have an alarm system on their house, and it started going off.
Thinking it was a false alarm, Lauren turned it off. But a few minutes later,
I got a call at 6:30 in the morning from ADT. They wouldn't have called me. Lauren would have gone back to bed, and they said that, within an hour or so, she'd have been dead with all the other dogs.
Christy had called me, and she was saying that there was carbon monoxide in the house and that I needed to get outside.
Everyone got out, and firefighters were able to turn off the gas and air out the house. Christy says she never expected trouble from this gas fireplace since it was only 5 years old and she didn't use it that much. But it turns out these should be checked periodically, just like your furnace. The National Association of Home Inspectors say ventless or vent-free fireplaces should not be used for more than 2 hours, should never be in bedrooms, and should be serviced every fall. California and some cities have passed laws restricting them, requiring gas fireplaces to have outdoor vents. Because if you don't have a carbon monoxide detector, you won't know you're being poisoned. Did you smell anything?
No, I had no idea what was going on.
Ventless fireplace manufacturers say their models are safe and, in fact, are much safer than wood-burning fireplaces that are blamed for hundreds of house fires every year. As always, don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
Time now for your Storm Team 6 forecast. We have the pleasure of having meteorologist Todd Clausen in for Kevin tonight. Great out there with the sunshine today.
You know, the sunshine in January helps everything.
Yeah.
And when you combine the sunshine with some above normal temperatures, you really can't complain about the weather we've been seeing and the weather we'll see for at least the next few days. Here's a live look in Bloomington right now, and you can see the sun setting. The further south you are, a little more in the way of sunshine currently than some northern locations. But anyway, you look at it, it's not a bad evening for us. 42 degrees. The wind is calm. Sunset happens officially here in just a few minutes at 5:35. So a little cooler to the north with temperatures in the 30s, closer to 50 degrees down in Bloomington at 47, and Columbus currently sitting at 45. If you have plans this evening, obviously this time of year you always probably need to have the jacket handy throughout the evening hours, and that will be the case tonight as well. And here is that band of cloud cover, essentially from Indy to the north, but it's just some high thin clouds. We are not dealing with any precipitation. What you see off to our west, and that will not make it here into central Indiana. So this evening, carry on with those plans. Just know temperatures do fall back down into the 30s. In fact, by the time we get to 9, 10 o'clock, we're looking at temperatures that will be right around the freezing mark. Now, tomorrow starts off chilly in the upper 20s. Our normal low this time of year is all the way down to 21 degrees. So we're above normal in the morning. We'll be above normal in the afternoon as well, with temperatures that'll be climbing all the way up into the low 40s with lots of sunshine around throughout the day tomorrow. We do just miss out on a storm system to our south tomorrow. It scoots by, so that's good news. We remain on the dry side of things, but what that storm system will do is pull down some colder air for Wednesday. So Wednesday, we start off the morning right around 24 degrees, and Wednesday will be the coldest day that we see this week. Your noontime temperature Wednesday right around 28, and our high gets up to 36 degrees. Again, that is seasonable, though, for this time of year. So even though it's colder on Wednesday, it's a bright, sunny day for us with those average temperatures. But there is trouble in our forecast as we look ahead. Wednesday, we're dry. Thursday, mainly dry. Showers come in late in the day. But Friday and Saturday turns very wet across the area. It's very mild, though, with highs getting back up to 60 degrees. And that will be key because we're going to see a lot of precipitation heading our way. There could just be a brief wintry mix early on Thursday as the system starts to arrive, but showers will become more numerous Thursday evening. Friday's a pretty wet day for us with rain off and on, and then we get another surge of some heavier rainfall as we work our way into the day on Saturday, and maybe on the backside of it, a little bit of a wintry mix working its way in, but potentially 2 to maybe 4 inches of rain on Friday and Saturday. That could lead to some localized flooding. Behind that storm system, though, colder temperatures return, but colder, we're only talking about low to mid 40s once again. So with the exception of Wednesday, our temperatures here straight across the board continue to average at or above normal for this time of year.
Last year, we were in the teens, or single digits at this point.
Yeah, and you go back a few more years, 5, 6 years, that's when we had that first big Arctic blast where we saw temperatures as cold as minus 15. So 44?
We can do it.
Not bad.
Right.
All right, well, Bachelor Peter is ready for takeoff as he gets strapped in for the flight of his life. What's ahead tonight for the Bachelor season premiere as 30 women arrive to the mansion, all vying for Pete the Pilot's final rose. Plus, local Bachelor news for you, eligible bachelors and bachelorettes.
Airing Hoosiers only on RTV6.
Good day to you. I'm Seema Iyer with Court TV Live. There are new charges in the case of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. The Los Angeles County District Attorney announced that Weinstein has been charged with raping one woman and sexually assaulting another one. These are alleged to have occurred over a 2-day period back in 2013. Prosecutors are recommending bail be set at $5 million. If convicted, Weinstein could face up to 28 years in prison. And today in New York, there was a status hearing on 5 counts of sexual assault, and many more women who say Weinstein assaulted them are expected to be at the courthouse for his trial. Our Court TV crews are in our New York studio, and we will have moment-to-moment updates. We'll be there for all of it, bringing you gavel-to-gavel coverage right here on Court TV Live. I'm Seema Iyer. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, and you can learn more about other cases around the nation right now at courttv.com.
Tonight, a new season of The Bachelor takes off here on RTV6 with pilot Pete Weber in the captain's seat. 30 young women will be vying for the heart of the California airline pilot who made it to the final 3 on Hannah Brown's season of The Bachelorette. And in surprise of surprises tonight, Hannah B shows up in a limo at the Bachelor Mansion. But why is she there? Is she one of this season's contestants? You'll have to wait to find out. The drama begins at 8 p.m. for the 3-hour premiere here on RTV6. And more Bachelor news. Bachelor Live on Stage is coming to Indianapolis April 21st at Clues Hall on the Butler University campus. And the show is now looking for a lucky local Bachelor and Bachelorette contestants to be part of the show. Each show will introduce one local Bachelor to local women from the audience through a series of games, challenges, and on-stage dates. The Bachelor will hand the final rose to the woman he's most compatible with. If you are interested in being the Bachelor or one of the Bachelorettes, visit butlerartscenter.org for details. The show will be co-hosted by Indiana native and former Bachelor Ben Higgins and former Bachelorette Becca Cochran.
All new at 6 p.m. here on RTV6. We're learning more about the investigation into a deadly crime spree that left 2 men dead in Indianapolis and a police canine dead in Fishers. The new technology that helped lead to the arrests of 3 suspects.
But first on the Now, Indy, extreme disappointment for some Hoosier auto workers who thought they would be on the job today. Call 6 Investigates is digging into what happened. You're watching RTV6.